I'm not going to sell Bitcoin just because it's doing well. I'm going to hold Bitcoin until it reaches our near term to long term price targets. And people are upset about that. They will sell out the Bitcoin. And then if I'm right, they're going to look back and say, well, geez, that was a mistake. Why did I do that? My point is, at 5% exposure, I'm in a situation, Scott, where 5% exposure doesn't destroy me if I'm wrong. But if I'm right, and this thing goes 3-4 to 1, it's going to have a magnificent effect on the portfolio. But forget about clients saying, hey, what the hell are you doing in Bitcoin? It's the call like, I'm firing you tonight. You own Bitcoin. Okay. And by the way, I've done that calculation. I've said, okay, I'm going to get 5% of the people that fire me. Bitcoin's going to be up 300%. So my Bitcoin exposure, I will make a prediction right here on your podcast that the Skybridge Bitcoin exposure will outpace who's ever redeeming from us as a result of our Bitcoin exposure. So to me, it's a value exchange, if you will.
Well, I'm assuming in the earlier days, have you seen a benefit from new customers coming in who are interested in Bitcoin and like the fact that you're exposed?
Small. Consistent with what you and I know about institutional adoption. It's small. Yes, the answer is yes, but it's small. But I bet you 2 years from now, the answer will be yes, and it'll be more sizable.
That makes sense. So
the irony of Bitcoin is the higher its price, the easier the adaptability will be.
Of course.
Amazon at $41, it could go to zero. Amazon at $3,000, I'm buying it. Let me watch Jeff Bezos fly to the moon.
It's absolutely true. So do you think that we need a vehicle like an ETF to achieve that level of adoption or security, or for this big wall of money from pensions and endowments to be able to confidently invest in the asset?
Yes, is the short answer. Now, I have an ETF application in right now, so I'm not allowed to speak about these ETFs. Unfortunately, I'm in a quiet period, but yes is the short answer. The more user-friendly products, the more ease of storage, the more confidence that people have, the more likely they will invest.
Do you think that there's a number of market cap where it becomes reasonable for the larger money? It's like you said, you sort of have this cognitive dissonance. You can't buy it because it's cheap. You need it to actually to be more expensive to gain exposure and know that you'll have the liquidity or be able to enter and exit. Do you think that there's a level that we need to be watching where all of a sudden this wall of money can enter?
I do. I think if it sustains itself over $1 trillion in market cap. So it was there briefly for probably a 6-week period of time. But if it were actually to sustain itself, meaning it got there and you could see that it had reached escape velocity, and to what Plan B talks about is stock to flow model, it's the supply has tightened and the demand is robust, then yes, I think people will start adopting it. And remember, you are buying something. Remember, you're buying something. When someone says to you, well, it's technologically worthless, it's just a cryptograph. I was listening to Senator Elizabeth Warren discuss it, and I was like, okay, wow, she really is this unknowledgeable, which actually is scary because she's making the laws of the United States. But then the other thing is she's supposed to be for the little guy. And so she sounded like a central banker when she was talking about it. I mean, Bitcoin is for the little people. It's not for the big people. Bitcoin is an empowerment move. And, what I would say, when you step back and you look at the whole landscape of everything, if we get this right, Bitcoin will improve the society, and it's worth something because of its network. Don't think it's worthless because it's a cryptograph. There's a network effect. It's the same why all these phones tied to each other is worth something. It's the same reason, I used this example earlier today, and I'll share it with you because I was thinking about it over the weekend. An old-fashioned network, Coca-Cola. It's a bottler, a distributor, it has trucks, and it moves beverages across 6 continents. Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is the second most recognized phrase in the English language. Number 1 is okay. Number 2 is Coke or Coca-Cola. Everybody knows what it is. If we destroyed all the bottling plants, destroyed all of the equipment related to Coke, And we went to Wall Street and we said, we had these two words, Coca-Cola. We'd like to raise billions of dollars to recreate that. Could we do it? And the answer is yes. So there's a value in the network. The word Bitcoin, 125 million users, scaling to 1 billion users, the word itself has value. The same way the URL cars.com has value or amazon.com has value. These are locations where a network exists. And in Bitcoin's case, it's a store of value network or a monetary network. And on its own, that in itself is quite valuable.
What does Bitcoin look like at 1 billion users? That would be a different world.
Well, I'm going to be very simplistic. Okay, 1 billion users is roughly 8 times more than we are right now. And so Bitcoin, okay, I actually think we're undervalued and technically oversold here. So I would have thought that Bitcoin would be where we are in terms of users at 50,000. So intrinsic fair value to me would be about $400,000 a coin at 1 billion users. Because again, you have fixed supply and you've got less than 21 million coins out there. You and I both know that the mining finishes 2140, in the year 2140, but you've also lost coins in the process of adoption. We've probably got 2 or 3 million coins that have been misplaced. They could be in a landfill. They could be on an old BlackBerry or somebody's laptop that was jettisoned in 2010. And so a result of which you've got probably 18 million coins in the universe. Let me point out something that JP Morgan has said. There are 48 million millionaires on planet Earth, according to JP Morgan. Well, there are only 18 million Bitcoins in existence. You don't even have enough Bitcoins for every millionaire on planet Earth to own one coin. So you can't tell me that the scarcity properties of this are not going to drive prices higher. And remember, what are you getting from Bitcoin? Stored value component. You're getting the transferability, the ease of transferability, the impregnability of the blockchain. These are super valuable things if you really study money, the ascent of money, and the history of money.